This is Autohaus Z, and today we're putting these Sumo helper springs on my 2015 Toyota Tacoma X-Runner. So I actually use this truck to tow cars to the track. Sometimes we haul a lot in the bed, so I know for sure, especially when we're towing, the bed sags a lot and it's probably not good for this sport suspension. So some helper springs were recommended for me, and I chose to go with these Sumo helper springs for a couple of reasons. So you could have airbag assist springs, but I actually didn't want to deal with like airlines and electrical plumbing, any of that headache, filling and deflating the bags. These Sumo helper springs are dense foam material, so you can see these will rest up against the frame in place of the factory bump stops, and then do exactly as intended, act as an assist spring when you're towing or when you have something heavy in the bed. So in the box, I have a really nice sheet of colored instructions. Sumo springs for the rear, and then some hardware. So on a two-wheel drive model, these will actually bolt up against the frame. It looks like if you have a four-wheel drive, this is actually flipped the other way, and these shackles actually hold the Sumo spring in place. Make 3 different colors of Sumo springs that differentiate the level of hardness. So blue is the softest one, black is the middle, and then they have yellow, which is the most densest foam and the hardest one. And then the harder the helper spring, the more load capacity rating they have. My biggest concern was ride comfort, but I thought about it a little more, and I actually don't drive the truck as much as I used to, so ride comfort may actually not be that big a deal for me. But with that X-Runner having sports suspension, I knew it could use a lot more assistance from some assist springs. So that's why I chose these black ones, and when I install and do like a good road test, I'll report back on the comfort level of these springs or if I felt any change in the truck. Alright, so on a two-wheel drive Tacoma, the bump stops are actually against the frame. So what I'm going to do is jack up the truck and put the jack stands under the frame so that the rear axle can hang down. And then just to help us out with install, I'll take both of the rear wheels off. And then before you guys do that, you want to make sure both front wheels are chocked so the truck doesn't roll forward on you. Alright, got my jack stands under the frame of the truck. You can see the OEM bump stop bolts up to the frame rail, and you can tell this guy's been smashing against the axle. So in the install guide, it shows you how to position these, and you can see it's offset towards the outside. So these are 12mm nuts. The Sumo spring ones are 13. And I'm also going to add a little bit of Loctite just for good insurance. Alright, cool. That should be one side done. Some things to note. Alright, so some things to note. Make sure to read the instructions. Orient the bracket so that the Sumo springs is offset towards the diff and away from the tire. And you can see that's also what the picture says. One more thing to note is that these holes are slotted. So the way it's installed right now, I actually have this pushed all the way forward, trying to center up this guy against the rear axle. Alright, sorry for the lighting, but this guy is fully touching the rear axle right now, so this will be at least a little bit compressed all the time. So yeah, I'm curious how this thing is gonna drive. So let me torque the wheels. We'll get the windshield mount set up, and then yeah, we'll go for a road test. Alright, I was actually gonna drive the truck home and come back with some impressions, but I was too excited to road test. I don't get to drive this truck very often either, so without further ado, why don't we go for a short road test over some street roads, and then just the regular highway road test I go with, and then also drive the truck home tonight, and if anything changes, I'll come back with some of my impressions. So let's do it. So immediately I feel like there's a lot more NVH transmitted into the truck. There's some rattles, or the seatbelt's rattling back there, which I don't think it did before. This is supposed to make the truck have less body roll, so we have a downhill on-ramp, so why don't we test out that body roll right now. Oh man, that was definitely a big jolt. Oh yeah, there's definitely less body roll than before. But those imperfections in the road surface, you can definitely feel them now. Like the bed, feels like the bed jumps up. That was a very good corner. I was impressed by that. My inputs were wrong, but that was a good corner. The truck did the corner really well. Those Sumo springs inspired a lot more confidence after that corner. Was that on corners like that, the axle would wrap. So I guess that's another positive of the Sumo springs, is that on hard XL on corners, the axle doesn't freaking hop and wrap anymore. All right, final impressions on the truck. First of all, as far as making the truck more fun to drive, 10 out of 10. The truck corners flatter. The axle wrap or axle hop that I got before is pretty much eliminated. As far as ride quality, I don't know what to make of it. I want to say even with those black helper springs, I don't think it really affected ride quality as bad. When I was first leaving, I think I was just getting used to the truck because I usually don't drive this truck very often. But I could honestly say it did not affect the truck's comfort that much, so I wouldn't even worry about it. Like, at no point during this road test was I like, oh, I should have got the softer ones. Yeah, thumbs up for the black springs on this truck. Overall, I'm really happy with this purchase decision. Thank you, Sumo Springs, for making a quality product, and this totally was one of those, like, for not that much money, improved the truck by a lot. On the 22nd of August, we're gonna pull a trailer with a car, and I can revisit and do a video on towing with an X-Runner, so we'll have to wait until that video. I noticed there's not a lot of X-Runner stuff on YouTube, so I'm talking to you, Magnuson. I would love to put a supercharger on this truck. I'd also love to start taking this truck to autocross, and then doing full track in this truck is not out of the realm of possibility out here in California. So thank you guys for watching. Again, Magnuson, I'd like that supercharger. If you like what you see, or do you like to know more about this truck, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, you guys.